Hi guys! Today I thought I'd show you a really easy way to make a natural looking stone. I'm not giving the stone a specific name, it just looks stone-like, if that makes sense. And just a few amount of um, mm, I can't think of the word. You're only going to need a few things. Okay, so I've got some Premo translucent clay here. You don't have to use Premo. You could use whichever clay you wanted, but Premo is what I'm working with. I'm not going to be using this whole block. I've just got it ready to go. I've also got this gunked up bottle of alcohol ink, and I've got it in orange. Any orange alcohol ink will work. I've got a tiny amount of Premo black, and I won't even be using all of that. And then cutters of your choice, or moulds, a blade and a brush. So that's all we're going to need. And a pasta machine, which is over there. Oh, and Holly, there's my ring. Holly wanted to see my ring. She says every time she watches me on a video, it catches her eye, but it's always twisted around that way because it's kind of loose on me a little bit. But there you go, Holly, there it is. Alright, so let's get started with this then. I'm just going to move my stupid wire out of the way. And I'm just going to take a little over one segment of this block. And I need my sharper blade. I don't like that one. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, never mind. I'll just use this one. Yeah, this one. And I'm going to cut it into 3 equalish sections. It doesn't matter if they're not equal. I mean, this one's a little bit bigger, but that's fine. So there's those 3 little pieces. You're also going to need roughly 1 segment of that block as well, and then just half a segment, and you probably won't even need all of that, but I'm just going to cut those pieces out. So you've got a little over 1 segment of the block left over, which is not going to be used. So that's all the trans you're going to need. Now the bigger piece, this piece, is going to be the base of the block that I'm going to make. So that just needs to be conditioned, which I won't do all that on camera, but it needs to be conditioned into a little block. So that's that piece. This is going to be rolled out onto a number 8. 9 being my thinnest setting on my Atlas 150. And these, I'm going to add the alcohol ink. So I'm just going to put those to one side for a minute. Get my roller and just quickly give it a roll. We don't need to make it perfect at this point. So each of those segments need to be rolled out a little bit just so we can add the alcohol ink. Okay, so I want to go from dark to light with the shade of the ink, so I'm going to put more in this one than I am the other 2. So let's go with 4 drops on that one and just give it a quick brush over. Now you can make this as dark or as light as you want, but this is what I'm going to go with. And obviously if I don't like the look of it once it's rolled out, I can always add a little bit more. So it's better to add less than more and see how you get on, but this is what I'm going with for now. And then I'm just going to go 1, 2 on this one and just 1 on that one. Okay, so we just want to get a dark, medium and light on our clay, like so. This needs to be dry. Oh, sorry guys, you are going to need another little tiny piece of trans, just a little bit, just about this much. And then just a pinch of the black, maybe a little bit more than that. A pinch, not even pea size, and that's also going to get mixed up. Alright, so I'm going to go and let these dry. And once they're dry, I'm going to mix them thoroughly together, pass them through on my pasta machine, and I'm going to roll these to an 8 as well as with the black. So it's all this is going to be rolled onto an 8. So the pure translucent rolled onto an 8 and all these rolled onto an 8 as well. So they're quite thin, but these need to dry, so I'll be back. Alright, so I've got my little block of trans conditioned and just formed into a little block. I've mixed all my alcohol inks into my clays, so I've got varying shades of the orange, although there isn't that much difference in these two, but I could have added another drop of alcohol ink, but I didn't. But they're varying shades. And then also the translucent all rolled out onto a number 8. And sorry guys, I completely forgot that you're going to need these as well. Some metal leaf. I'm going with copper. You don't have to use copper, you could use silver, gold, whatever. And I've also got some gold liquid clay. This is optional, you don't have to put this in there if you don't want to, but you will need some translucent liquid clay as well. Sorry guys, a brain fart moment again. Alright, let's continue then. So I'm going to get my blade. I've got my piece of trans mixed with a very small amount of black, and I'm just going to tear a piece off and place it on top of my translucent block. And it doesn't have to be neat and tidy, it's absolutely fine to overlap it like so. And I'm just going to take this blade blunt side down and push some cuts all the way through to the bottom of the block, any direction, but I'm not overdoing it with the diagonal cuts, I'm just keeping them more straight on. But again, your choice, you can do more diagonal cuts if you want to. Give that another squish back together like this, and then I'm going to take my translucent and I'm going to add some of that on the top of that. I try not to overlap the pure translucent too much because it can lead to a little bit of plaquing. So that's what I found with the last batch that I made. There was a couple that had some pretty bad plaquing in there. So I'm trying to avoid overlapping of the pure translucent, and again I'm just cutting through a few little diagonals here and there, pushing it back together like so, and then I'm just going to start on my oranges, and let's start with the darker colour at the bottom. And again, it's fine to overlap these a little bit if you want to, and then top that with another piece of trans and cut through again. And mush back together, and that's all you're doing, is you're just going through each of those colours, although I'm not going to add any more black. I just wanted one layer of black at the bottom, but that's all you do, is take each of those colours, stack, add the trans, cut. So I'm not going to let's see how long it takes me, but I suppose I could do the majority of this off camera, but it's no biggie. So I've gone with the medium orange now, and a bit more trans on the top, and again cut. Okay, and that's all you're doing, you just keep doing that colour, trans, cut, colour, trans, cut. But I just want to quickly show you that it's okay to mix and match the different shades of orange, and this I am going to tear little pieces and just randomly place them on the block, and then I'll take my medium orange and do the same thing. So you can mix and match as well, so just play with it and see what you like. I'm just going to take some of the darker orange and just add that in there as well, like so. And again, another piece of trans. Give it a little squeeze and cut. Now you could do wider spaces between the cuts, or you can do really, you know, narrow cuts. Alright, so I'm just going to go and continue that off camera. So it's just a question of, you know, layering up your oranges. You can mix and match them, or you can just do single layers of one shade. But always remember to add a layer of trans on top and then cut, and then always push back together. But I'm just going to do the rest off camera. You don't need to see me do the whole thing, because I'm going to repeat the thing exactly how I've already shown you. Alright, so once I've done that, I'll be back. I've made my final cuts and I'm just pushing all this back together. So I've got my nice little block now. I did actually need to roll out a little bit more translucent. So overall I used a whole block, close enough to a whole block of the translucent clay. Just to give you a general idea, but of course you can make this block as big as you would like, but I'm just making sure it's all nicely pushed back together. Okay, so there's the block. But now what I want to do is just add a few little inclusions. And you have seen me do this before with one of my other faux stones. I can't remember which one it was though. But anyway, I'm going to just make a few random cuts. I'm going to start with this one here. I'm just going to cut it a diagonal. Now you can see the pattern there. I'm going to take some of my liquid translucent clay and just drop a little bit on either side of that cut. You don't need a great deal, and I think this is almost empty. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on there, give it a little rub. So those cuts are covered, and then I'm just going to take my metal leaf, in this case copper, but like I say, you could use silver if you wanted to, or gold, whichever. And I'm just going to put some on either side of the cut because I want a fairly thick layer. So I'm just pressing that on there. Trying to. And then I'm just going to put those pieces back together in the same way that they were cut, so like that. Now, word of warning, heads up, this might take a little bit of time to push that back together and it actually sticks. And sometimes it's a case of actually cutting out your pieces and then making them stick at that point, because it doesn't always work at this point. Don't panic. Now I'm going to take another cut, and I think I'm just going to go straight through there like that. And same thing, some liquid clay, translucent, on either side of the cut. And just smear it all around like so. A little bit more of the copper leaf. Now with this you can put as many cuts in as you want to, but I think I'm just going to stick to these two just to get a couple of little veins running through. Like this. Just a little bit more. Like that, and then I'm just, whoops, See what I mean? It doesn't want to stick together, but it will. Don't panic, it will eventually. I'm just going to put those back together like so, and that's as many cuts of that as I'm going to do. But in the last batch that I made, or one of the batches that I made anyway, because I've done a few of these now in different colours, you don't have to even do orange if you don't want to, and I will show you some of the other ones that I've made using different colours. And in fact, one batch that I did, I didn't even use alcohol ink. I used clay, like tiny pinches of coloured clay. Did it exactly the same way, but instead of the alcohol ink, just tiny pinches of colour mixed into the trans clay. But again, I'll show you those at the end. Alright, so I've done my few little cuts, but I want to add some of this gold liquid clay as well. Again, you don't have to. This is just something that I fancy doing, and I think I'm going to actually do this as more of a curve, and I'm just literally going to put some of this on there like so, and it just adds a little glimmer of a gold vein, and then just pop it back together. And let me think, do I want to add anything else? I think I will just add another curved one here. Again, optional. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do. And then just piece that back together, back into a block. Alright, so once you've done that, you've got your block, but now you've got this problem of getting this to stick, and it does take a bit of work, guys, I'll be honest. I've actually found if you leave this to rest for a little bit and then come back to it, it helps, but I'm not going to do that because I'm on camera. I'll make it work, and it might be good for you to see how it all comes together anyway, even though you've got that little issue. I mean, it's not too bad. It's not, you know, the end of the world or anything. Just keep pushing, and I mean, it's still wanting to separate a little bit, but that's pretty good. Okay, now the other choice to make is whether to do it in moulds or cutters. I suggest if you're going to do it as using cutters, you're going to need some more translucent clay as a backing to roll out, which actually, guys, I think I am going to go and do that, but I will do cutters and I'll also do a mould so you can see. But I'm just going to run off quickly and roll out some more translucent clay. I'll be back. Let's make the earrings and this little pendant first. I got these really cute cutters from Oh Joy Creations. I love her cutters, and I actually invested in a few pairs of earring cutters, which I was very limited on, and didn't tend to make a lot of earrings, but I feel like there's a market for them, so I'm trying to be good and make earrings. I always tend to make things on the larger size, and my cutters were always too big for earrings in my opinion, although I know some people do like really large earrings, but then I know people that prefer smaller pendants as well, so I got this little earring and pendant set from Oh Joy Creations. Alright, so let's start with those first. I've got my trans rolled out, and I've just rolled it onto a number 3 because I don't want them to be too thick, because bear in mind we're going to put a layer of this onto there. So I'm just going to cut through like so. And I'm just going to, you can see it's resisting sticking, but just, you know, keep playing with it until it does stick, and then obviously we're going to give it a little roll as well, so that will help it stick. Oops. And I'm just going to give it another quick roll. Try and get both earrings out of this one. Okay, let's go here. Give it a little wiggle. And then let's try and get some of that in there as well. Some of the black. So, you know, it's going to look a little different depending on where you actually put your cuts when you're using your cutters. So there's one earring. Just put that to the side. There's another earring. Put that to the side. Okay, so let's take another slice to do the pendant. I think I'm going to cut it a little thinner this time. And just take another slice. And as you cut through, you're going to get more and more of that translucent that you started off with as the base as you cut through, which is what you want. I think I need to mention something to you guys. When you finished your block, okay, you've got your block, you've been cutting down this way, and this is the top of your stack, all right? I should have explained this before. It's going to be difficult to explain now. Now, a lot of faux stones, you've got your top, and you keep the top face up and you cut down. In this case, I turned it. I can't explain it. Let me see if I can explain it a different way. I'm so sorry, guys. I should have explained this from the start. You've got your block. You've got the top of your block, but you're not keeping the top of the block face up. You're turning it onto its edge and slicing down that way. If you did it where you kept the block face up and cut that way, you'd get a completely different pattern. I hope that makes sense, but basically remember, you've got your top of your block and you're going to turn it on its edge and cut down that way, and that's how you get this look. I should have said it as I was doing it, but I didn't think. I mean, you can go back and watch me do, you'll see me do it, but I just wanted to make sure that was clear. I mean, you could cut it the other way if you wanted, but you are going to get a slightly different look. So again, just play around with it. Okay. And then just this cutter, try and get some of that in there, like so. And that's the pendant to go with those earrings, which I think are really cute. I'm just going to grab some card to put them on to bake. Whoops. I don't want to pull too hard on that and break it. Alright. So I'm just going to place these on here. Like so. My hands are so sticky. Hang on. And I'm also just going to give them a quick clean with some rubbing alcohol, and that helps get rid of some of that metal leaf that's kind of oozed out. But again, these are going to be they're going to have a little bit of a sand just to remove any of the gold that's oozed out too much, but in the meantime I'm just going to give them a quick wipe with some rubbing alcohol just to clean them up a little bit. Alright, so there's the earrings and pendant, and I'll go and bake those, and you'll see what they look like once they're baked. Don't worry about this, you can always reuse this. Now let's try one with a mould. Cut it fairly thick, and as you can see I've cut down even more, and there's even more trans now, so which way do I want it to go? Let's go with the more trans side and just put that in this mould like so. Give it a good push. Just like to give it a little bit of a roll just to make sure it's nice in there and nice and flat as well. And I'm just going to give this another little wipe. Hopefully they are nicely stuck together, those little veiny bits. And then just pop it out. This one's breaking, I can see already. See? Don't panic. Do not panic. It's all going to get resined anyway, so just mushing them together just a little bit. Okay, another wipe. And I will go and bake that. Now once these are out of the oven, I do give them a quick sand all over, just with a coarser grit, just to get rid of the bits that I don't want on there, like some of the gold has oozed out, and I can just sand it off. And I like to get the edges really nice and smooth as well. But these will be resined. Anyway, I'm going to go and bake these. Sorry if I've rambled a bit today, but I panic and think, oh poo, I didn't mention something and I forgot. So I hope I made sense. Extra hand movements again, sorry. Alright guys, so there's a pendant that I did in a mould, and these are from Cutters with some translucent backing. I'll go and bake these and I will be back. Hi guys, I'm back, and that whole thing's been bugging me where I didn't explain how to slice things. Just think of it as a Makume Gani stack, if you will, but I just want to quickly show you just to clarify what I mean. Let's just pretend I've just got some scrap clay. This is our translucent base, and then we've got the translucent slices that you put on top as showed. So let's just pretend I've built it all the way up and I've got all my different layers, and I've put some lines through, etc, etc. Now imagine that it's been built up. I've got all the different layers being built up. So if you were to slice down, just leave the stack facing upwards, the top facing up. Just imagine that's the completed stack. And then you were to cut down from the side. All you're going to get, I know this isn't going to show it properly, but all you're going to get is stripes going across this way. For this, you need to turn it so it's on its edge, so the top now becomes in front of you, and slice down that way, and that's how you get the pattern that I showed you. I really hope that makes sense, but I just wanted to clarify because it was really bugging me. Anyway, onto the pieces. So this is the mould one that I did, that I showed you, and as you can see it's still got quite a lot of the orange because this came from the top of the stack. So obviously as you go down there's going to be less orange and more trans showing through. So this has got the orange, and you can see the little lines of black as well coming through. So that's the one that I did in the mould. I don't have any of those black cords that I normally show you. I've run out of those, but I will leave a link for them, and also the pinch bales that I use. And here's the other little necklace that I did. Sorry, pendant that I did. And if I hold it close, you can really see some gorgeous fractures coming through on the piece. And there's a bit more translucent in this one as well. And you can see the gold veins, and you can just make out the gold line of the liquid translucent clay that I put in there as well. So that's that little pendant. And then the earrings. Now these are more orangey because these were from the top of the stack, but they're still really cool, and there's still some nice fractures going on in there. And I just added a little hoop, and I thought blue would look really nice with these, so I added some little blue turquoise chips. Again, the links will all be there for you. And there's the other earring. So they're the earrings. I also made this from the same stack, and this is getting right down to the last slice now, so there's a whole lot more trans and less orange coming through. And again, you can see some really nice fractures running through that piece. I haven't finished this obviously, but I just thought I'd show you. So there's that one. And I also mentioned that I've done them with different colours. Now here's one that I did with some green alcohol inks. Exactly the same technique. This one's got a little bit of placking in it, but I think it kind of adds to the realism of the stone look. So there's that one. And then I also did this one using purples, and I can't even quite remember what colours I used. And this has got a whole lot of placking in it. So just be aware of that. I think what I did on this one, I either didn't condition the clay enough, the translucent clay enough, or it was because of where I layered too many little pieces of trans on top of each other. I don't know, but it's very plaqued. But just to give you the idea of the different colours that you can use, like those two. Alright guys, I'll just quickly show you this one. This is another one that I did from a different batch, and I used silver metal leaf instead of the copper, so I mean it's pretty much the same as this one, just different colour veins running through it. Alright guys, so they're the pieces from today, and these are the other ones just to show you. I did sand the sides so they were nice and smooth, and I resined the fronts of them. I haven't done anything. I did resin these ones. Yeah, I resined the backs as well. I don't think I resined this one yet, no. But I did resin the backs of these, and also these earrings. I've got another unfinished pair of earrings to show you, just to give you an idea of different shapes. I've just drilled holes in these so far, resined them again front and back. But these again have got more of the translucency, with just like hints of the orange, and again really nice fractures running through them. Alright guys, so there's a lot of little pieces going on there, and I hope it's given you some ideas. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye.